Well, hello there and welcome to this video on the XLOOKUP function in Microsoft Excel. In this video I'll go through the basic usage of XLOOKUP in terms of the required and the optional arguments used within the function. So, as you can see, we have a sheet here with two tables on it. The first table here is a list of employee IDs with employee forenames and surnames, and the second table is a list of employee IDs with a sales value associated with those employee IDs. And what we're looking to do is populate these two columns here, the forename and surname column, from this table over here. So in order to do that with XLOOKUP, we'll click into cell G2 and type equals XLOOKUP. And then you'll see the first argument is the lookup value, and that is employee ID here. The second is the lookup array, and that's where we will be looking up the employee ID. So that is A2 to A7 here, or we can just click to select the entire column. And then the third is the return array, and let's in this instance make that the B column, and that is all of the required criteria for XLOOKUP, or the required arguments rather. So let's just close the bracket there and press return, and you'll see that the forename Vincent has come up associated with that employee ID, which is correct. And we can fill down to the bottom with that, and it will return all of the forenames associated with these employee IDs, with the exception of this one, which is not on the list. So if we have a look again at our formula in G2 and we click back into it, we can see that the fourth argument in there is if not found, which is ideal for this particular situation. So in here we can put some text in that we want returned when there's an NA error produced, basically. So if we say something like wrong, that should cover it. And if we press return, and yeah, there we go, copy it to the bottom, and we can see now that that's come up with the text that we put in for the situation where there's a missing result. So that's all working in a straightforward sort of manner, but we only have the forename at the moment and we need the surname as well. So one way of doing this here is to click back into the formula, and instead of the return array just being one column, i.e. the forename column, we can select two columns, B and C, press return, and you'll see that that has populated the populated column H with Vega. Now, this is called spilling, and it's basically means by which a formula in a single cell can spill into other cells, can populate other cells. And you'll notice if we click on them, the original formula is perfectly normal, whereas the formula in H2 is grayed out, and that indicates that that formula isn't effectively actually there. It's looking at a formula in another cell. So if we just copy down all of these to populate all of the cells, we see that it populates forename and surname for all of the employees that it can find. Now if we click back into G2 and look at our formula again, you can see that the next argument is the match mode. This defaults to exact match, but you can have various other types of match. The wildcard and the regex, regular expressions match, I'll cover in separate videos. But the other two here, exact match or next smaller item, exact match or next larger item, basically does what it says. It will find, you know, an exact match if it's there, or the next item higher or lower based on what you choose if the exact match doesn't exist. So what used to be called a range lookup. So moving on from there, the final argument is the search mode. And this, you can see, lets you search first to last, last to first. Fairly self-explanatory because it's a lookup function, so it returns the first thing it finds. So first to last will return the first thing on the list. Last to first will return the last thing on the list that it finds. The binary searches, ascending and descending, are basically a way to speed up searching and are quite effective if you can sort the data in numerical order. So I'll just put in a binary search for ascending order and press return. So if we copy that down, you can see that there's no current change. However, that's because these are in ascending order. If they were not in ascending order, if we just sort them so that they're in a reverse order, then all of these will error out because they're not sorted in ascending order. So it's very strict about that, obviously. It must be sorted, the list you're looking up to must be sorted in ascending order. However, it does massively increase the speed at which it retrieves it. So if you're working with really big data sets, that can be quite handy. Now, if we head over to sheet number 2 for an example of the way in which XLOOKUP can be used to look up horizontally as opposed to vertically, what we've got here is 12 months of sales, expenses and total, and then down here we've got our little box where we want to return things, let's say. So if we were going to use this for returning 1 month at a time, perhaps we choose April, so I'll type April in there. And then we want the sales, expenses and total for April returned below it. So what we would do is type equals XLOOKUP, and then our lookup value is April, and our lookup range is row 1, the row with the months in it, and then our return range will be or return array rather, will be the 3 rows below that. So we select them, close the bracket, press return, and you'll see it returns these values for April into our little box here, and then we can change the month to whatever we want to return the values for that month. So if we change it to January, and you'll see it's returned the values for January. So that is the basic functionality of XLOOKUP. I'll be posting videos on using XLOOKUP with wildcards, regular expressions and multiple criteria. So look out for them. If they're already up, they will be linked from this video. And I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching.